Today I want to talk about basically the difference between commercial and residential HVAC. What field should you go in? So I have been doing HVAC for 10 years, purely service, a little bit of install since I got into the commercial side. I did 7 years residential, or no, 8 years I guess residential, and I'm on my second year of heavy commercial and industrial. So I started out with a shop. Well, let's backtrack a little bit. I started out working at a Ford dealer, which is what I always wanted to do. And I was a line tech there, and fast forward a little bit, transitioned out of that and got hired onto a HVAC service department where they put me through training and whatnot and started me out in residential HVAC. Then I moved out. I did 2 or 3 years out in Indiana, and then moved out to Oregon and started working for a company out here. It's actually the same company that my grandfather worked at and retired from. So I worked for them and moved up in the ranks there, became kind of like one of their lead guys, and along with another guy, moved into commercial. So I've been doing heavy commercial and industrial, a little bit of light commercial on this department for going on my second year now. So I've learned enough to know the differences, and I wanted to kind of touch on that in this video. So if you're brand new to the field and you're trying to figure out which direction you want to go in, and you're kind of lost and you don't know, which should I go commercial, should I go light commercial, should I go residential, should I go refrigeration? There's all these different avenues you can go into with HVAC. So I'm going to talk about the difference between what I do now and what I did do. So residential, you're doing house calls all day. A lot of times the service departments are going to be kind of sales based. So some of them are going to pay you a lower hourly wage, and they're going to pay you commission or spiffs based on how many upsells you can get, whether it be a new thermostat or a fancy new filter or a UV light or something like that. I don't like selling. I like fixing shit, and so I did my time in residential and I moved on. Now commercial, you're paid for your skill set. You're not when you go into a service department, you're paid for service. You're not getting spiffs or anything like that because you can sell. So for me, that is the biggest difference. And so if you enjoy just doing service, I would say you need to go into commercial, light commercial, something like that, and go from there. Now, if you're starting out in residential, which is pretty common, it's easier to get in with a residential business, and they can train you and teach you the ropes. That's what I did. I do recommend that as well. So it really comes down to what you can get into. Now, if you want to, like right now, I'm union, so I didn't go through the apprenticeship, but I tested in as journeyman. And if you want to go that route and go to the union, go through the 4-year apprenticeship program, that's also a route that you can take. A lot of times these unions are accepting applications a few times a year. So you can go in there, put your application in, get into the apprenticeship. You're going to start kind of bottom of the barrel. That's why it's good to do that as a young age. But you're going to start at a lower hourly wage, but you're going to get paid for your training. You're going to get paid to learn. So I think that's a fantastic option for somebody who's early 20s, late teens even, whatever, to go in there and go through the apprenticeship and learn as much as you can, become a sponge to all that information. Once you decide which route you want to go, say you want to start in residential, you want to pick up as much of that as you can. So don't just go in day to day and just fall into that groove, because it's really easy to fucking do. I did it, and you get too comfortable and then you don't want to make any steps to progress yourself. So have a plan. Go in, say I want to do 5 years residential, and then I want to move into refrigeration, market refrigeration, I want to move into heavy commercial, I want to go do industrial, I want to go do ammonia. Make your decision on what you want to do. Today there's so many things that you can specialize in. VRF is one of the big ones that is coming up in our industry and has been here for a while. But a lot of companies are looking for people that specialize in things like that. But yeah, so residential, I mean, I was doing ballpark average 10 calls a day. So you're going in, you're dealing with a customer, so you got to deal with all their emotions, their money problems, their dog, their cat, their kids, their house, their garbage, their dirty clothes, their cat that took a dump right in front of the furnace. You got to deal with all that. Their dirty crawl space, their dirty attic, their hot attic. All that stuff you're going to have to deal with residential. Yeah, you're going to have to deal with all that. Now in commercial, everything is slower. The company I work for now, I get maximum like 2-3 calls a day. And it's very slow sometimes. You know, you're taking your time, but you got to, you know, a lot of these jobs you're hauling shit up onto the roof. You know, a way bigger process to do the same job that you would do in residential. Plus side, you don't deal with the emotions as much. You don't deal with the money problems as much. You know, I'm union. They pay for all of our tools. I don't have to buy even a screwdriver. So that's a big thing for me. Not only that, but you get a pension, you get higher wages. Union, I think, is the way to go. But sometimes you can't start there. You're going to have to make that decision on your own. Figure out what's best for you and your situation. I kind of miss residential sometimes, to be honest with you. You know, I like to work by myself for the most part. So, you know, in commercial, it seems like a lot of times I'm working with somebody, which it's not a bad thing. It's just different. There's all these different aspects to it. But I would say if you want to make money and you want to progress, if you can get into a union shop and test into the union and go that route, that's probably what's going to be the most fruitful for your future. They're both good, and don't let anybody tell you that residential is, you know, bottom of the barrel kind of technicians. Me and one other guy I work with are considered, you know, top tier on our team now, and we both came from residential, so, and non-union. If you're the type that really doesn't like, you know, if you like that fast pace, you know, getting things done, rolling through calls, if you like that type of thing, residential is probably your bag. You're going to be moving all day long, and that's cool, but there's going to be a certain age that you hit where you don't want to move that fast and you want to kind of learn more and have more of a specialized skill set. And I think that's where commercial and industrial and that kind of thing comes into play, because there's a lot of days where I walk up to something I've never seen before and I get to use my brain and try to figure it out. So, I mean, there's so many resources out there. It's not really that scary. You know, you got YouTube, you got Google, you got Reddit, Facebook, all these groups that have people in them that are smart, and you can just simply ask questions. There's never a wrong question to ask. So if you are a residential guy right now and you've got some experience and you kind of know the basics of refrigeration, you know how things work, and you're kind of stagnant and nothing's moving, nothing's progressing, I'd say you probably need to make the jump. That's exactly what happened to me. I got bored, you know, working on the same little split system all the time, doing tune-ups. I can count on two hands the amount of preventative maintenances and tune-ups that I've done since I've moved to commercial. You know, we've got apprentices that they basically have them do that so they can kind of learn the ropes and learn how things work, and it's not as intimidating for an apprentice to go out there and do a maintenance as it is to send them out on a big boiler or a chiller, for instance. So as a good journeyman, you're probably not going to be put on maintenance very often. Once they see that you're good and you know what you're doing, you know, you're probably going to be out there working on stuff and fixing stuff, because that's where the value is. That's kind of my thoughts on it, and I might go into this in depth more in the future, but I wanted to touch on that real quick because it took me a year of my coworker. He jumped ship right, you know, a year before I did, and it took a year of him pestering me saying, dude, you need to come over here, this is so much better. it took a year of that because I was like, no, I'm comfortable. You know, I go to work every day. I work to local. I can have my dog in the van with me most days. You know, I don't have that here. And so there's some downsides, and I have to work in the big city all the time. But, you know, when the positives outweigh the negatives, that's how you're going to be able to justify making that big of a jump. So, now, if you're late teens, you're a teenager, and you're trying to figure out what you need to do, jump into the trades. You don't have to be an HVAC guy, but electricians, plumbers, welders, HVAC, obviously, all those skilled trades, they're always going to be here. I don't care what kind of recession we go through. I don't care what financial situation the economy goes through. You're always going to be able to clock in the morning and go to work and make money and put food on the table at the end of the day. And once you get specialized and you get good enough, you move up the ranks and you get paid more, you're going to work more, and you're going to be valuable. Which means you can demand things. You can demand pay raises, you can take a vacation, nobody's going to bitch at you. I'm going to stop this video right here. I do want to do some gear reviews and things like that. You know, tool reviews for the guys that are just starting out, because, you know, I know when I started out, I've probably gone through 10 tool bags, 10 of this, 10 of that. And now I have the same bag. I know exactly what I need. So yeah, maybe we'll do a video on gear reviews, tools, things like that in the future. That's about it for this video. I'm gonna touch on this in the future in more detail, and maybe write down some key points of why you might choose residential versus commercial HVAC. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.